Hello, my name is Asher. I hope all of you are doing well and keeping safe wherever you are in the world. It's been a long time since I've done a video on Witness Lee's group. I definitely wasn't planning to do any more videos after my last videos a few years ago. I think it's quite a few years ago, like 4 years ago. But yeah, and I've barely even thought about this group to be honest with you over the years. But yeah, recently I've been kind of looking into a few things and talking to a few people, and I was exposed to this very, very horrific case in New Zealand, which it angered me quite a bit. Yeah, very, very angry really at what had happened, and yeah, my first thought was to go straight to the police. I definitely didn't think about doing a video. I thought I need to go straight to the police and report this to the police. Um, but then I thought these issues of, and I'm going to be speaking about sexual abuse and suicide. Um, this isn't just a random case of sexual abuse and suicide that you would see in the outside world. I believe strongly that this is totally related to being a member in the Lord's Recovery. So yeah, I thought, yeah, well, why not do a video? I believe this is strongly related to witness these teachings on covering up sin, the mind, related to suppression of the mind, mind control, all of these sorts of things. I think it's all definitely related. This case of suicide and sexual abuse. So yeah, what I will say is that if there are any children or vulnerable adults watching this video who, or particularly children, but even vulnerable adults who maybe are struggling a bit with mental health, no judgment from me if you're struggling with mental health. I probably wouldn't recommend watching this video. I will be talking about sensitive topics. So yeah, so the incident. So going into the incident again, it's all. I believe strongly that this is all situated around Witness Lee's teachings on covering sin, suppression of the mind control, even related to the atmosphere of the cult, particularly in the meetings, which I will go into eventually. So yeah, the incident. So yeah, my plan will be to do probably two videos. This video I'll just explain the incident, and then the next video I'll go into talking about Witness Lee's teachings more thoroughly. So yeah, the incident. This is a very, very sad incident. This is actually tough to talk about. So there is a woman, young woman, about 20, 25. She's a church kid, so she's growing up in the Lord's Recovery. Her family are all very dedicated to the movement. Her father is from what I've heard, he was a campus worker. He is a campus worker working for one of the campuses in New Zealand. Yeah, so this woman, she was a church kid. She grew up as a child going to the meetings, all the children's meetings. She went to all the high school meetings, was indoctrinated all through high school, went to the camps, and then went to university. And she went to Auckland University in New Zealand. She would have attended the Auckland University Christian Club. And then yeah, after graduating Auckland University, she worked for a bit, and then she attended the full-time training in Hamilton, New Zealand. Yeah, and then that is what essentially they want from every student they come into contact with. So whether it's a church kid who's grown up in the church, or it's someone who they contact on the university, they pretty much want every young person to go to this full-time training center. That's pretty much where, if you go to the full-time training center, you're pretty much there for life in this church. Even though some people do get out, but I think most don't. They're there for life. So yeah, the incident itself, it's terrible. During a holiday break, during for the full time training. So during a holiday break, This woman volunteers to go up to Auckland. So the full-time training is in Hamilton. Auckland is very close to Hamilton. She travels up to Auckland um, with more than likely a few other full-time training students to help a couple in Auckland move into their house. So she travels up there, and while she is helping the couple move into the house, she's sexually abused. Someone sexually abuses her. More than likely, it was someone in the full time training. So it was probably one of the guys in the full time training did this to her. I don't know that for sure, but I think there's a good chance it probably was. So yeah, so she, well, I'm sure she was very, very traumatized by this, and she keeps it silent. She doesn't tell anyone about this horrific situation. She carries this burden. Pretty much, she carries this burden. Why would she carry this burden? Why? This is a very, very horrific situation. Yeah, carrying this burden would, surely that would make it worse over a period of time. Well, yeah, I'll give you my thoughts on why she might have done it. So, definitely when it comes to this cult, there is a fear of retaliation. So, yeah, even though this cult can be a bit unpredictable when it comes to retaliation, sometimes they can retaliate very harshly to circumstances, and other times they just brush it aside. But I'm confident that with this situation, they definitely would have retaliated. And there's been other situations in the world of sexual abuse, or either sexual abuse, women have been sexually abused or violently abused. And there's women out there, ex-members of this cult, who have spoken out. They've exposed how they've been violently abused. And the cult members, well, they instead of helping the woman, they pretty much silence the woman. They silence the woman, and they protect the offender. So that's what they actually do. They silence the victim and they protect the offender. Yeah, so it's all based on their teaching of covering up sin, and they pretty much just want to protect their own reputation, and pretty much they don't want anything to damage their movement. They don't want anything to come in and damage their movement. So yeah, they definitely do that, and she was probably aware of all this, and also, like I said before, her family was very dedicated to this cult. Her father worked on one of the campuses. So I know this is very horrible to say, but I think there's a very good chance that she was not getting the emotional support that she needed. The people in this cult, they handle situations and complex problems, very differently to how the outside world handles complex problems and situations. Yeah, they tend to, that they tend to kind of like shrug it off. Like if you go to a cult member, and if you're in this movement, and you go to someone with a big problem, they kind of dismiss it. Like they tell you, like, you need to, you really need to get out of your mind, and you need to, you need to exercise your spirit. You need to come to more meetings. Exercise the spirit. The devil is in you. He's really got a hold of you. You need to come to the meetings and really exercise your spirit. They may give you ministry books, and they won't tackle the problem directly. They like maybe we would in the outside world. Like if someone comes to us with a big problem, we'll help that person directly with the problem. They don't do that. They pretty much indirectly address the problem, and they disassociate themselves from the problem. They pretty much say, or they don't say directly, but they say, it's not our problem. We'll give you our advice we'll give you our advice in terms of coming to the meeting and etc. etc. But we're not going to help you with the problem directly. That's what they pretty much did. Even when I was in this group, they did that all the time. That happened to me, and I saw that happen to many, many other people. So this woman, she probably was aware of that, and she probably was not getting the emotional support she needed from her family, and she probably knew that she wouldn't be able to talk to the elders in this cult. And she probably had close friends, and probably since she was in the full time training, I think there's a good chance that she had probably all her friends and all her close friends were in this cult. Because by then you've pretty much kind of disassociated yourself from the outside world and the people, even though you may have some friends here and there, but yeah, most of your close companions are in the cult. So yeah, it's sad. She more than likely did not have anyone she could reach out to and help her with the situation. So yeah, that I'm sure that would have played a big part. Um, so yeah, so far we have a woman who she's been sexually abused. She's kept it silent. She hasn't told anyone, and that's led to her death. She's taken her own life, and what she did is she left a suicide note behind. And in this suicide note, I don't know the words directly, but she pretty much says that, this is really sad. She felt that the best way to handle this situation was to take her own life. And that is really, really sad. That is unbelievably sad that she would feel that way. So yeah, what happened was the parents they saw this note obviously, and they went to the police. And in this note, it's important to say that she wasn't specific. She didn't say who did it or whether it was associated with with the Lord's recovery. So yeah, the parents they saw the note. They went to the police, and the police did their investigation. They found out a bit about the girl, and they went to the full-time training center in Hamilton, and they did an investigation into potential sexual abuse. But yeah, there was no evidence of sort of the back to back up this claim. They couldn't find any evidence. All they had was a piece of paper. They didn't have anything specific on it, and they had deceptive cult members who aren't gonna they're not gonna tell them. So yep, no, not at all blaming the police. They probably did what they could. But what I will say is that the girl did not tell anyone how she died. How she didn't tell anyone about the sexual abuse. She told no one, and that's definitely true. I verified that. She told no one about the sexual abuse. Her own family didn't know about the sexual abuse. No one close to her knew about it. So therefore, how do we know that the sexual abuse happened during a holiday in the full-time training when she didn't say anything? How do we know that? Well, I'll tell you what I think happened. I'll just give you my thoughts about what I think. So again, we have a woman who was sexually abused, and she takes her own life. And before that, she went to a camp, and seemed very normal. She seemed very, very normal at this camp, and she takes her own life. Only a few days later, she leaves behind a suicide note, which indicates that she did it because she was sexually abused. And then the parents see it. They go to the police. The police do an investigation. They go to the the police gather information. They go to the full-time training center in Hamilton, and they can't find any evidence. And I will give the people at the full-time training the benefit of the doubt. I am familiar with those people, and I don't think they knew at that time who did it. I don't think they would go as far as to lie to the police or intentionally deceive the police. I know those people. I highly, highly doubt that they would do that. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say that they didn't know. I think it would have been a big shock to them having the police do an investigation on their property. But what I think happened is after the police had left, they did their own investigation. They did their own investigation privately, and I'm thinking that they found out who did it and what happened. I'm thinking they found out, the guy who did it, and I'm thinking the guy pretty much confessed what happened. He confessed, and pretty much it's been leaked. Pretty much that's what I'm thinking. It's been leaked, and more than likely, when they talked to the guy, they more than likely, gave him a bit of a slap on the wrist, and kind of that more than likely they downplayed the issue. They said, look, this is bad, but if you come to the meetings, you exercise your spirit, you deal with the Satan in you. They believe that Satan is in us. Then you can be recovered pretty much. We can recover you. And if you do all these, and I'm sure they would have comforted him to some extent and told him, look, we won't tell the police. You just deal with yourself and recovering yourself, and we'll keep it. We won't tell the police. We'll keep this out of, from the police. I strongly believe that. I think they're covering for this guy. I think he's probably somewhere in the community, just living a normal life. He probably is going to the meetings. I think they're pretty much covering for him. So, so what I will say is that, so I guess where do I go from here? I've given this case. I've given what I think. What I want to do is I pretty much want to hand this video over to the public. I don't know any more details, but what I would like is it would be really great. I know there are people out there who know more than what I know about this case. There are people out there who know more, and they're probably afraid to come forward and give the information that is necessary. But it would be good if it would be the right thing to do if you did that. A good way of probably doing that is putting a comment down below on this video. You don't have to put your name. You can just put an alias name so that they don't know who you are. That would probably be a good thing to do, and give us the information that we need. Particularly who did it. That would be really good. If we knew who did this. So. I'm hoping that someone can come forward and give us more information about who did it. Also to the public, I just want to say, I said at the start of the video, I don't plan to go to the police. And the reason why is I think the person who did this should have the opportunity to come forward and confess. But if you think otherwise, if you think that the police should know, feel free to share my video with the police. I don't care. I don't care if you go to the police with my video. Feel free to do that. I don't have a problem with that. And also to the offender, honestly, man, you're a scumbag. You're a complete scumbag. How can you live your normal life with knowing what you had done? You sexually abused this woman, and she's dead mainly because of you. She's dead. She's lying dead somewhere because of you. You're a complete scumbag. I don't know how you can go on knowing that you did that. Surely your conscience wouldn't allow that, but obviously you're in a cult and people think otherwise. So you should probably do the right thing and turn yourself in. If you don't turn yourself in, if you stay protected with behind this cult for the rest of your life, the Lord will deal with you very, very harshly. It won't end well for you at all, but it could end well for you if you disassociate yourself from this evil cult and turn yourself into the police. And there's hope for you, even for you, someone disgusting like you did a disgusting thing. There's even hope for you. So I hope you do the right thing and turn yourself in and disassociate yourself from the cult. Lastly, to the cult members, particularly to the people at Hamilton Full-Time Training Centre, like I said before, it's kind of difficult to know how these cult members will react to these sort of videos. They're a bit unpredictable. Sometimes they can react very harshly. and then other times they just brush it aside. I'm pretty sure they'll react harshly. So, well, yeah, probably harshly. So what I will say is that no one in this cult, particularly those at the full-time training center, I don't care who you are or how well I know you or have known you in the past, you're definitely not welcome on my property. If I see any cult members on my property, yeah, I'll pretty much file trespassing charges, and yeah, I definitely won't be happy. Yeah, I'll definitely get law enforcement involved. So yeah, none of you are welcome on my property. You are welcome to contact me by email, but yeah, you're definitely not welcome on my property. And I actually think they will retaliate. So I'm gonna talk to some people afterwards because I think they will retaliate to this. So yeah, I think that's all from me. In this video, I really just wanted to put this really serious case out there, and yeah, I'm hoping I'm hoping that there are people in the public who do the right thing, come forward, tell us who did it, and yeah, I think the police need to know about it. It would be good it probably would be good to get the police involved. So yeah, it's pretty much it from me. In my next video, I will go into the teachings. I will kind of link this video to the teachings of Witness Lee around covering up sin, the mind control, all that sort of stuff, mind control, suppression of the mind, suppressing feelings, and they do say that no, we don't want people to suppress their feelings. We want people to deal with situations in a spirit-based way, but yeah, it's just natural to suppress your feelings in this cult. Yeah, with the teachings and the atmosphere. But I will go into that a lot more in the next video. I do have a lot to say on these points. Yeah, and hopefully by then we know a bit more information about this case. So yeah, that's all from me. God bless you all. Thank you.